I remember the exact moment the world tilted. My phone buzzed again. Another reminder of the absurdity. Performance review scheduled for Friday, 3 p.m. I stared at it, frozen. Wedding invitations sprawled across my desk like a cruel joke. The smirk on her face during our last meeting replayed in my mind. Priorities, she'd said, like she had the right to decide mine. I laughed quietly to myself, a cold, controlled laugh. Timing, I realized, is everything. I first met her 4 years ago. Bright, ambitious, magnetic. Exactly the kind of person you think you can trust. The kind of person whose handshake feels like a promise. She mentored me, smiled when I succeeded, and nodded approvingly at my ideas. I believed in her. I believed in us. Back then, I stayed late because she asked. I covered shifts because she suggested. I trusted her to recognize dedication. And she did, until she didn't. The signs were subtle at first, a dismissive comment here, a late acknowledgement there. A canceled meeting with an excuse too neat to be believable. Then the whispers started. A project I had spent weeks perfecting suddenly presented as hers. A bonus quietly reassigned. Emails marked for review never returned. I noticed patterns. I logged details. I kept a calm face, smiled when I had to, nodded when I had to. But inside, the gears were turning. I didn't want her to know that I knew. That would ruin the effect. Then came the final confirmation. A forwarded email, unguarded. She had gone behind my back, undermined me in front of the entire leadership team. My heart sank for a second, but only a second. I swallowed it. A different kind of satisfaction began to take shape. I didn't act immediately. Revenge is an art, not a reaction. I observed her rhythm, her pride, her predictable arrogance, the way she thrived on her illusion of control. I planned around it, timing every step, letting anticipation ferment into something precise and devastating. First, I secured the exit route, a resignation letter drafted, double-checked, addressed directly to her superior. No ambiguity, no emotion, just facts, delivered like a scalpel. Next, I built leverage quietly. I documented everything, emails, approvals, small betrayals that nobody else had noticed, a quiet dossier of truth. Then I waited, patient. Friday arrived, my wedding day. I wore my suit, the one I had chosen for months, my hands steady, my expression neutral. Guests murmured around me, oblivious. My phone buzzed again. Performance review. I didn't flinch. She walked in, smug, fully convinced of her dominance. I could see it in her posture, in the brief smirk she shot over her shoulder. She thought she controlled time. She didn't know that I controlled timing. I hit send. The resignation landed in her boss's inbox precisely as her review began. I watched from across the room as the messages pinged through, one by one. Her smirk faltered. Her words stumbled. Questions flew. Her carefully constructed confidence crumbled mid-sentence. You submitted your resignation? The disbelief was audible. Yes, I said, quietly, calmly, like stating a fact. Nothing more, nothing less. She froze, realizing that her power play had failed, that the tables had turned. Every manipulation, every undermining effort had backfired in a single elegant moment. She had underestimated me. Timing had betrayed her. I didn't gloat. I didn't shout. Revenge doesn't need noise. It needs precision. I excused myself, smiled at a few guests, and stepped into the sunlight outside. The wind felt like a release, and the weight I had carried for months lifted in a single breath. I thought about her later, alone in her office, her reflection twisting in the polished wood, realizing too late that control is an illusion when someone else writes the rules. I had played my part perfectly, silent, patient, intelligent. And I had won, not with chaos, not with anger, but with timing, with calculation, with quiet satisfaction. I had my wedding, my dignity, my freedom. She had her lesson, burned into the memory of that day, sharp and undeniable. Timing, power, justice, and I, finally, was free.